So I know I don't normally do kit reviews, but I really wanted an excuse to talk about this guy and a few things that have been on my mind about the hobby as of late. So here we have Xabe's Gyan Hakuji packs. You would think it's Xavier, but if you see the anime, they clearly say Xabe. His name in the hiragana is Xabe. So it's kind of weird they went with that for a translation, but he's a character who's playing both sides during this sort of GQuuuuuX conflict. He's the original pilot of the GQuuuuuX and gets it stolen from him. And then during the plot to assassinate Cecilia, of course, he steps in with this Gyan to save her. This was really the GQuuuuuX model that I was looking the most forward to. I have a lot of problems with the later stretch of the show, I would say. But that Cecilia episode with the Psycho Gundam and the Gyan is just a fantastic episode of Gundam. This kit itself here is really cool. I've always been a Gyan fan, and you can see just how big this lance is. We'll take a look at that in a sec. I'll actually just pop this out a little bit. See if I can. Cool. That can kind of just sit there like a rocket ship. So, there's kind of this mechanism that the hand goes into. Typical GQuuuuuX hand, it's on a swivel, not just a ball joint, so it swivels up and down. And this piece I had to glue on because just even with the stand, the weight of the handle for the lance was pulling the back piece of the hand off. So I just glued that and I'll send that down and, that'll be good. These open, which is very cool. Very different than your normal Gyan shield. So that's fun. Fun to play with, little inner mechanisms in there. And this very cool arm brace for the shield. So it's very sturdy, it's not wobbling. And then it just moves and can move on like 2 points of articulation here, right? So very cool. And typically just a normal GQuuuuuX sort of design with tubes all over, random angular bits, skinny waist. These have more typical Gundam feet compared to the GQuuuuuX sort of hoof feet. But I do like that. Gyan's Dunbine style legs are pretty iconic. It's weird how they like flatten the head. I consider Gyan to have that like diamond shaped head, and this is just like a flat head, and then this little like marine style backpack almost with a little seat line up the side. Some little thrusters at the back. So yeah, pretty basic, cool little kit. This lance here is so cool. It comes on its own stand. It's big. Has these weird growth-like balls that I guess are like propellants for the thrusters here. And that handle that I showed just locks in right there. And I found even like since this kind of stands independently, even if you don't lock it in, you can just kind of pose it by like having it like that, right? And well, maybe not so well, but you get the idea. If you're not moving it. There is a movable mono-eye in here. I didn't paint it, and I did end up losing the sticker when I was trying to put it on. It's a very small sticker. But there's this movable mono-eye piece in there. And there's even, it's raised. The little eye is raised, so you can just easily dab some paint on that, which I'll do. And that's pretty much it for this kit. The weird thing about it is that there is golden trim all over it. And just like the Valimar that I'm working on, the golden trim is not included. So these ones are just stickers though, and oddly there's no recesses for the trim. You would think typically with something like that there'd be the recesses where the stickers go in, but I believe the mass production Gyan that is not out yet doesn't have the gold trim, so there'd be no reason for the recesses on these pieces, right? So I think my move here is to paint those, because I'm going to fully paint this kit. And that's what I wanted to really talk about, is this idea of giving yourself credit or kind of falling victim to imposter syndrome. I've been doing this a few years now, and I've built over maybe 60, 70 kits, Gundam and non-Gundam. I've painted over 30 kits easily. And I still have the tendency to be like, I'm a beginner. And, you know, these are rookie numbers compared to doing it your whole life. But, you know, my speed has gotten better, my brush control, my understanding of my materials, right? Which I think is honestly the most important thing, is understanding your materials. Now, I've recently just gotten into an airbrush, fallen into an airbrush. My girlfriend got me one. And I got the booth and everything set up, and I've been testing on pieces and priming some minis and things like that. But I'm going to airbrush this guy. And I think a year or two ago, this guy would have been too intimidating for me to even brush paint. I would have probably thrown the stickers on him and called it a day. And then he would have wound up in my extra parts box eventually, because I don't like displaying out-of-box unpainted kits, high grades especially. My whole high-grade shelf pretty much is painted, or at least like weather decaled, top-coated. So, this guy now, though, that I'm looking at him, it's so easy to formulate a game plan. Even with an airbrush that I'm not too comfortable with. It's like I'm gonna base coat this guy, and then I'll put all the stickers on, and I'll use those stickers as masking. Well, I guess I can paint it gold. I'll base coat black, and then I'll paint the white armor gold, and then I'll put the gold stickers on over top, right? And then maybe top coat over that, and then paint the white around the stickers, and hopefully these will work as masking, right? And that's not something that I would have immediately thought. And something that would have been too scary for me to try, but now I know how to clean up stuff, I know how to fix stuff, and it's so easy to just kind of fall into victim when you see other people's work or other people's content, to think that you don't know anything, or that you're just a beginner, or that everyone's way better than you, and yeah, there's always going to be people way better than you. But then I go and look at some of my more recent works, this GQuuuuuuX, which I love very, very dearly. I made a video on the weathering process for this guy, and, you know, everything came out quite spectacular here, as well as the video that I did at the end of my Modeling Mistakes series, or at least the first batch of them, and this Demi-Witch here, this custom Demi-Trainer. That the idea finally became fully realized after trying it about 2 years ago and failing. So now I'm getting a bit loftier with my projects, and everything feels easier. Like you do something once, and the second time you do it starts to feel second nature. By the third time, it's just going to feel like another thing that you do. Even with cleaning the airbrush, the first time, deep cleaning it, I was getting clogs. I was cleaning it more than I was even painting, and now I've kind of gotten that down to a T. Last time I was airbrushing, I knocked over a whole bottle of paint, so that was horrible cleanup, and, you know, a lot of smell, even with the vent on, but, you know, that's a lesson learned. Don't leave my paint open while I'm mixing it, and while I'm airbrushing, and, you know, close it when I'm done, obviously, right? But these sort of things get easier, less intimidating, and you can kind of look back on your work and assess it from a different lens. Your earlier work that you think was really good, like stuff that I was so proud of a year ago, now I'm like, well, I could do a second pass on it. I could buy the model again and do it again, like I did with the Demi-Trainer. But this guy here, these opening pieces, all these tiny pieces, like, I mean, I was even afraid to take model kits apart. Now I can just pull all these pieces off. Anything I do want color separated, I can paint separately. If I break something in the process, I can just glue it back on or fix it. I'm not afraid of these kits anymore, you know? Maybe, you know, if I'm building like an aircraft that requires precise alignment and the walls to be lined up correctly and things to be clamped for a day, then yeah, I start to get intimidated. The boat is intimidating me. I'm stuck, for instance, on this boat because I have to do flagpoles for it, and I tried doing, I have to do the wiring, the rigging. And I tried using little thin wire for it, so maybe it would like hold up on the shelf better, and it just looked wrong, and I couldn't bend it properly, and I was not doing that, so need to figure out a twine situation. I don't even know if I know where those flags are anymore. I'm pretty sure I do, but, you know, I've been moving stuff around lately in my place, so, you know, I'm pretty sure I know where those flags are, but if not, you know, that's another challenge I'll have to overcome. I'll have to buy some custom flags, or maybe even maybe a third-party rigging kit if one of those exists, and that would be interesting. But I think this kit is fantastic. I think this kit is going to be so much fun to paint, especially now that I've kind of gotten over my hump of being afraid of plastic. There's nothing it can do to hurt me. There's nothing that this kit can do to hurt me, right? I'm not going to be breaking off little tiny cannons that are the size of a sewing needle, like on that boat. I'm not going to be, you know, really having to do any heavy, you know, masking. I feel like all the masking is done for me with these stickers here. I think that I can really make this work. And if it doesn't work, then we have another modeling mistakes on our hands. One thing that I'll note also about this kit that's really cool is this stand here that holds up the lance. There's these clear pieces that come with the kit and have nothing in the manual to indicate what they're for. But it seems like that's to maybe like have this stand angled in a slightly different way, maybe like backwards facing so that it's hidden behind, like maybe get like the right angle here, jump that out there, and then have the stand going behind the model. So that's interesting. But all in all, I think this was just kind of an excuse to show off how cool this kit is, but also, sorry, I almost want to call him Xavier. It's Xavier. Xavier himself is kind of, you know, going through the motions of imposter syndrome himself. He respects Shalia. He, you know, thinks that, you know, he's doing a good thing, though, by spying on Shalia, by working for Cecilia, and ultimately, you know, Cecilia is right about Gyan. And ultimately, I think he's kind of the character who is almost the biggest moral quandary of the show, except he's having to grapple with his duty, and the idea that there is a coup being planned that he's, you know, supposed to report on and stop, but this coup might actually be for good because the zombies are kind of a poison on the world. Now, I think the suit is badass. I would love to see the mass production version, maybe sold for a bit cheaper without this massive lance, and it would be in kind of the classic Gyan purple. I think I'm going to go a bit more off-white than just straight white. I'm maybe a bit intimidated by doing straight white out the airbrush first thing. But yeah. So just trust yourself, try new techniques, and give yourself credit. If you think you did something good, don't immediately backpedal on it, because I have a bad habit of being like, well, this can't be the life I'm living. I can't, like, things can't be going well for me, right? Things can't be working out. My ideas can't be coming to fruition. Life can't be going so well, right? You know, and things never happen that easy. And, you know, of course, never get too comfortable, because then life has a way of throwing curveballs at you. But it is important to take those little moments when you can and realize the progress that you've made instead of being so down on yourself. Otherwise, you're just kind of going to get stuck in that plateau or that hump. where you think that those techniques that you use are all that you do use and that you can use, and they work for you. But yeah, get out there, try new stuff. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. It's just plastic. And yeah. Anyways, take care, guys. Will you stand? No. All right, bye.